You are my Solskjaer, my only Solskjaer. You make me happy when skies are grey. Lou Alan Shearer, he may be dearer. Please don't take my Solskjaer away. Come on, my son, get in there. How's it going, everyone? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United YouTube channel with, a long overdue video. Of course, the news is broken long ago that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been appointed caretaker manager of Manchester United at the end of the season. It's obviously fantastic news for Manchester United fans because as much as Jose is a great manager, and he's favourite to go on and take over Real Madrid at the end of the season and will continue probably to be a great manager, he was not the right fit for United. And he had let United slip a long way down the standard of where we should be. League performances, league position, general team feeling around the club, around the atmosphere, everything. It was awful. So the change had to be made. We need to go back to basics, back to the roots of Manchester United and getting the baby-faced assassin in is a big move for us, I think, because he's somebody that does obviously know the club. He does have some managerial chops. Okay, may have not worked out too well at Cardiff there, but Molde, when he was managing Molde over in Norway, I believe that it was the first time that he got them to win the league. It was the first time that happened for the club in 100 years. So that's quite a big managerial achievement. But aside from that, he is a Manchester United legend. He is a United player, the super sub himself, and hopefully he can be the super sub this season from a managerial point of view and come in and turn our fortunes around and improve our league position. I'm not expecting miracles from this United side because we are shite. He's got a lot of work cut out for him. He needs to get rid of a couple of players in the January transfer window, in my opinion. Hopefully the owners will be prepared to spend a little bit in January, but considering he is the caretaker boss, will they truly be going out there and investing heavily in this side for the caretaker boss? I mean, hopefully, best case scenario, we do that, and Ole Gunnar somehow manages to scrape us up to top 4 come the end of the season, in which case he would have to stay on and keep the job. But it's all about restoring the Manchester United way to this side. They're low on confidence. The system they were playing in was awful, and you could see they didn't want to do it. They weren't comfortable doing that under Jose's regime. Whereas Ole Gunnar coming in, hopefully it'll be a lot more forward-thinking approach back to the old roots when he was a United player. Because, that side, the side that he was part of, that generation of players anyway, Sir Alex Ferguson's United, is about as good as it gets from a United fan's point of view. So he knows a thing or two about this football club, that's for sure. Really buzzing about it. I think it's a great appointment. There was talk of Laurent Blanc, and it's like, I don't really want Laurent Blanc on. I want an ex-Red. If it's going to be a caretaker, ex-Red. I think Mike Phelan coming in is a huge thing. Who will take over end of the season? That brings up another question, which of course we have to talk about, because there's a lot of candidates. Pochettino over at Spurs is probably leading the pack, and that would make a lot of sense. I admire what he's done over there, and even before at Southampton, he's proven in the Premier League. I think he would be a good fit for United, but there's so many question marks hanging over that one. Would Daniel Levy allow him to leave for anything less than a small fortune? Would he even want to leave? Because let's be honest now, at this moment in time, Spurs' squad are better. They've got a better core of English players. They've got a younger squad. They've got, more chance of probably being in the Champions League and competing for trophies right now at this moment in time anyway. Obviously, United's a much bigger club than Spurs, and surely a couple of years ago, he would have jumped at the opportunity. But things have changed slightly for United. We are on a serious downturn at the moment, and whether or not he would want to come and actually take up the challenge is because it's such a poison chalice of a job. There's so much pressure on whoever comes in and fills those shoes because they've got to get this club performing basically from the off. Otherwise, it would be another Ginger Goblin Moy scenario or something, Could easily happen. I mean, in the ideal world, like I touched on it earlier, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if he can get this United side playing anywhere near the sort of football we should, then maybe he will just effectively play himself in for the managerial role come the end of the season. It all depends. I mean, if he can pull off some sort of miracle and qualify for the Champions League, you'd have to give him the job. Forget the style of football, whatever. If we just, from where we are, if he was able to scrape us to top 4, then you'd have to give him the job, wouldn't you? Because that would be such an unbelievable achievement. But yeah, anyway, everybody tuning in right now, thanks for stopping by. It's going to be a reasonably shorter sort of live video podcast tonight. Midweek Mumble. I've been banging on about doing this for ages. Apologies, I wasn't able to get a reaction video out earlier yesterday to Ole Gunnar being appointed as caretaker manager. I was really busy at work yesterday, long hours, and today, so I wasn't able to get a video on until now for you lovely people. But here I am with my lovely face. Right, thanks very much for stopping by. Do us a favour, chuck us a like, and there's about 100 legends tuning in right now. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on the decision to appoint the baby-faced assassin as our new managerial assassin. Hopefully, it is the shot in the arm we need. You know, in my opinion, he's got some big decisions to make right now. Because does he just put his faith in players like Paul Pogba and try and get the best out of Paul Pogba? Put an arm around the shoulder of Paul Pogba. Give him a head massage. Take him down the barbers. Get any colour he wants in it. You know, really treat him. Does he do that? Or does he say, look, does he give him a dressing down and say, you're a prima donna lad? I don't like what you've done under Mourinho. You're playing to 1/10 of your actual ability. It's a disgrace. I don't know, but one thing is for sure, he is part of that generation of United players that did have that bottle, that did have that fight, that did know how to represent and play for United. So I don't think he will tolerate any bullshit from any of these prima donnas we've got on our side. And I hate to say that we've got them, because United back in the day, you know, we were far from that. Yeah, we had Becks, you know, Beckham, he was sort of, you know, used to go around knocking about in sarongs and stuff like that. All fashion conscious and that. Yeah, okay. You know, moved to Real. Yeah, okay. But generally, we're a club that is built on old-fashioned tradition, that is built on no-nonsense players. You know, Roy Keane springs to mind. You know, Roy Keane ain't pouncing about in the Dolce & Gabbana, is he? No, he that's the sort of player that we need. I think Ole Gunnar knows that. He knows that we can maybe bring in a couple of faces like that in the January transfer window, hopefully, and maybe move a couple on. One thing's for sure, Paul Pogba, Lukaku, players like that who have been underperforming, who have clearly shown disdain at Jose Mourinho's system and have just not looked comfortable for a very long time, haven't flourished in that system whatsoever. But yeah, they probably will be happy that Jose Mourinho has left, but they cannot use this as an excuse now. And in a way, if Paul Pogba gets selected the next game, goes out there and scores a brace and plays quality, then he's an even bigger knobhead than I thought. Because it's like, have you just not been playing for your manager purposefully? Because you just can't be asked, because you didn't believe in the system. You know, there's a lot of controversy and stuff going on between them behind the scenes, and I know they don't like each other, so I can sort of understand it. But at the same time, he's got to be professional. He's got to keep that standard up. I think that's what's going to happen, though. It's going to be like Chelsea back in the day when Jose Mourinho got sacked after he's been there for the second spell. And, of course, the players were absolutely awful. He's got them right down there at the foot of the Premier League. This is Chelsea we're talking about. Jose had a mare, lost the dressing room. Bunch of prima donnas over there at Chelsea. Pure scum, in fact. Eden Hazard, you know, the ringleader, doing absolutely soddle for a long time until Jose Mourinho gets sacked. Then next game, what's that? All of a sudden, we're freaking quality again. I don't like that, man. Now, okay, yeah, new manager coming in, new approach, new system, you know, bit more freedom. Okay, that is a factor. But also, I think it's a lot down to these prima donna players, man. They seriously did my head in. I mean, let me just talk about this for a second, okay? Because I'm late to the party on this one as well. I'm late to the party on this one. Let me just have a sip of my lemon water here, because I'm going to need it. So, what the hell was I just going to talk about? I've completely forgotten. Right, Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba, this whole scheduled tweet thing, scheduled Instagram post or whatever it was, now part of the marketing campaign, with a picture of him with a little cheeky face saying, caption this, the morning that the news is announced that Jose Mourinho has been sacked. I mean, come on. Does he think we're stupid and it's a scheduled tweet and all this nonsense, man? You know, he's got personality. He's got some big brass balls on him. You know, he's not afraid to have his say. We've sort of seen that a little bit. I mean, you know, he's probably been shackled in terms of what he's been allowed to say by the club anyway. He's kept quite a lot to himself, but you know there's that bitterness. And you know that he's probably very relieved that Mourinho's gone, because he wasn't happy in the system. You can see that in his performances. Then there's training ground bust-ups and little hearsay things here and there. And obviously they weren't getting on. So you know he's happy, but keep it to yourself, man. Where's the professionalism? And okay, it may be a scheduled tweet. Which twat is in charge of your social media that can't go and delay that or delete that? You know, come on. That's bullshit. Basically, Paul Pogba there's having a dig at Jose Mourinho. Fair enough, he's happy he's gone. Now the pressure is on you, Paul. Now you can't use that Jose Mourinho excuse. I want to see how you can perform with a true United ex-legend coming in there guiding the ship. Let's see what you can do, because I'm sure he will be a lot more progressive and give you more freedom than Jose Mourinho's system did. And I understand that was some negative shite, and it was really bad and poor defensively and not playing to your strengths or Lukaku's strengths or a lot of the players in our system. It just didn't fit us. So there's no excuses now. We need to see an instant improvement from Paul Pogba, because let's face it, he's on 300k a week. He is the face of Manchester United at the moment, whether you like it or not. I personally don't like it. I'd like to see some players with a a bit more no-nonsense bollocks in the side. But he is a very talented player. There's no doubt about it. We saw that performance against Manchester City last year, one of the few quality performances from him in a red shirt. We've seen how great he can be for France and Juventus back in the day. So there's no excuse from him now. This is make or break for Paul Pogba. Between now and the end of the season, I want to see him playing like his name's freaking Ronaldo Messinho or something. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to see him fannying around, dawdling on the ball, giving it away, looking disinterested out there. I want to see him leading. I want to see him leading by his powerful play out there on the pitch, because we know he's a quality player. That's the most frustrating thing about it. It's like you've got this awesome motorcycle, but you've got it restricted, man, to 60 miles an hour or something. That's sort of how he plays under Jose Mourinho anyway. So Jose's gone. He doesn't have that excuse anymore. Players like Matic, what's he going to do? Is he even wanted? Because he's been awful recently. He is a Jose Mourinho signing. He's a Jose Mourinho player, a big Frankenstein's monster with no touch and skill whatsoever and poise at all. Fellaini's another one of those players, obviously not a Jose signing, but a Jose player. I'd like to see those sorts of big lummoxes just sidelined for a little while now. Yeah, we may not be able to find buyers for them right away, but let's give some opportunities to younger players, because that is another thing that Ole Gunnar probably will get, and Jose didn't do enough at United, and it's a tradition at United, which is to bring through younger players and blood the youth and all that sort of stuff, and create quality players and create stars. I cannot fault Louis van Gaal for his ability at doing that. He was putting players in, freaking, who was that Love character? What was his first name? I've totally forgotten, but there's loads of random players. I think McTominay was a player that Van Gaal gave a debut to. Rashford, of course, is another big one. Donald Love. Donald Love is another Louis Van Gaal. He put him in there Valentine's Day, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? What was he doing, that man? Seriously. He's like, he didn't have a full squad of players, so let's just choose somebody associated randomly with the date that we're playing the game on. That's basically what he did, but you cannot fault his commitment to giving young players an opportunity. And Fergie used to do that. Busby back in the day, when we were in the successful period before, well before I was born. Of course, he did that marvellously as well. So it is a big United tradition to do that. I think we need to go back to that. It's all well and good buying these ready-made stars, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. We saw it previously back in the day with players under Sir Alex, like Juan Sebastian Veron, who was an excellent player, excellent signing at the time, just didn't work out for him. Forlan, another great player, didn't work out for him. So there's lots of players that have come in at Manchester United that hasn't worked out for. There's big players at the club right now who are not living up to it, like Alexis Sanchez, who's on $500,000 a week or whatever it is, ridiculous amount of money. He's only 30 years of age. I said in my previous video, I think it was like 31, 32 or something. No, he's actually 30 still. So that man needs to man the hell up. He needs to step up. He's still quality. How good was he at Arsenal? You don't lose that overnight, Alexis, just because you turned 30, pal. Grow some. Grow a pair. Now is his time. Fair enough, the system Jose Mourinho was employing at United just wasn't working. It was not the right fit for the club. It was awful. It was ugly. It didn't benefit our quality attacking players. We've got shitty defensive players and good attacking players. And Jose Mourinho was playing too defensively to our weaknesses, not playing to our strengths. I want to see us play to our strengths. Alexis Sanchez on his days as good as anyone. Problem is, he hasn't had a day for about a year or whatever it is. So there's a lot of players at Manchester United that are underperforming, a lot of star players. Just imagine if you got Pogba, Lukaku and Sanchez all performing like themselves week in, week out. Just how good would we be? Forget the rest of the team. Those are some quality players, on their day. Pogba is a magician on his day. He really is. There's no doubt in his ability, his technique, his technical ability, the way he reads the game, some of the passes he makes, his shooting ability from long distance, set pieces. He's a good all-round box-to-box midfielder. Beast. He really is on his day. Problem is, his day is very, very occasional. That's the problem with him. It's not like a consistent thing, or at least it hasn't been under Jose. And I can understand it from his point of view because it is very negative. It is shackling. And if he's an expressive footballer, attacking footballer like he wants to be, then it must be pretty dreary playing in that system. So, but like I say, there's no excuses from you now, pal. There is no excuses for Paul Pogba and these guys. So I want to see them man the hell up. Everybody, thanks so much for stopping by. I'm going to get into some of your comments shortly. Just want to talk a little bit more about this whole situation with Ole Gunnar coming in. So it's quite amazing, really, that this has happened. I think it's just what we needed. It's a great PR move by the club, because he is very loved by the fans, you know, really loved. There's not many people that we hold in a higher regard or love than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he was the super sub for us. Yes, he did used to start games, he did used to play, but he was always so impactful from the bench and scored a record number of goals for us from the bench. 99 Champions League final, you know, need I say more? The guy is written in United folklore. He is written in the history of this club. It's a great appointment. If it wasn't him, I would have liked to have seen somebody else appointed who is a previous Manchester United player. But I just think that he's perfect right now, because it's the pressure is off him right now, because Jose's done all the damage. It's on him to try and turn this ship around and get us going in the right direction again and get us climbing up the league table, which is paramount. That is so important. I mean, I don't realistically think that even if we went on an incredible run, we can really get top four. Because look at how the other teams are playing above us, you know, Spurs and, okay, Arsenal lost a couple in a row now, but they're still up there. Chelsea, Liverpool, City, they're just very strong this season. I think it's going to be very difficult for us to maintain that consistency and even really catch up ground on those teams, because they are just so far ahead, and those teams are all fighting for those spots. So I think we've got our work cut out for us. But if he can get us playing the right way, get us performing, results are secondary right now. I want to see us really going for it, playing to our strengths, playing attacking football, playing the United way. He knows a thing or two about that. So I'm pretty convinced he's going to do that. I'm pretty convinced in the next game you're going to see a real gung-ho mentality from us. And I know that necessarily might not be the best thing, but bearing in mind the fixture that we've got, I think we just need to try and batter them 5-0. Everybody who's tuning in, you're a bunch of legends, right? I'm just going to read a few more of your comments now. Leicester comments, I think we need a break from Europe, sort ourselves out next season, and then try to get back in it again. That's a very good point, because we don't want to be in the Europa League. That's the problem. It's a hindrance more than anything. Yeah, it is a European competition. Yeah, it is a way into the Champions League. But of course, next year, hopefully, our league performances will be our way into the Champions League. We did that under Jose, though, and won it. So it's more of a hindrance than it is anything else. We don't want to be playing all those fixtures on a Thursday night in far-flung corners of Europe. It's a nightmare. I agree with you. I think if we're not going to get Champions League, then really we don't want to be in the Europa League, because it's just too much, too much on the old schedule, too much on the players, all that travel, extra fixtures. It's a nightmare. So I agree with you, but at the same time, we have to try and win games and try and get top four. I know it's a ridiculous ask at the moment with the way things are at the club, but that's basically like winning the league for us right now. If we could just get fourth, that would be like winning the league based on the start that we had to the season and the fact that we've had to make a change, managerial change, get Ole Gunnar in. I think it's just an exciting time at the club now. How shit was it, lads and lasses? How dreary was it, though? Tuning in week in, week out, expecting dreary, terrible, gash-tastic Mourinho, Mr. Beanio type football all the time. It was depressing. It was actually depressing. It really did get to the point where you just didn't think he was going to start playing like we want to. He was very rigid, set in his ways, always set up negatively, always set up defensively, even against sides that we should be tearing apart. So he brought it on himself, this man. I'm excited at the prospect of playing some bloody good football for a change. You know, forget this nonsense we've been playing this season. That isn't Manchester United. Any neutrals watching this right now on here having a laugh because, yeah, you know, we're down in 8th place or whatever and we're shite. That's not Manchester United. You know, we've come back from much worse stuff than this in our history, and we will come back again like a phoenix from the ashes. Yeah, I think I agree with you there, Lester. Thank you very much for your comment. Alex Rudd in the house with a little comment here. Thank you so much for stopping by. He says, Pochettino is in a good position. Why would he want to start over? I agree with you, man. I really do believe that he's got a great squad there at Spurs. He knows all the players. Okay, he spent jack shit in the last couple of seasons, which is even more of an indicator of what a good manager he is, but also even more of an indicator of what a good squad they already have because of how they perform and how much of a good team they are, bearing in mind they haven't hardly bought anyone. I think they've actually got like a next spend of minus 6 million over the last couple of seasons or something. So they've sold more players than they've actually bought in terms of transfer money. So I think he's a great manager. He's got a great squad. Spurs is a great club. I mean, yeah, he's not won anything. That's one of the criticisms that gets left at his door all the time is that, yeah, he did well at Southampton and he's done well with Spurs. Missed out on a cup final and hasn't won a trophy. That's the thing. And for a club like Manchester United, we want people who can win trophies. But I think given the side like Manchester United and his managerial ability, surely they will come. I think if he stays at Spurs, they will come because they don't compete financially with the likes of Liverpool and City, but they still just about compete with them out there on the pitch. Not quite. Obviously, those two teams, Liverpool and City, are the outstanding teams this season. And Spurs will do an unbelievable job to even keep up with them. But they still play nice football. They still have a really good squad. I agree with you, Alex. I think he's in too much of a good thing over there. It could be a nightmare for him. Imagine if he came over and it was just like it has been for the last few managers, because it's such a difficult job at Manchester United to come in and get this team playing like they should do and what the fans demand, because there's a lot of pressure created by the fans because we want to see good football and we should be seeing good football because that is how United are supposed to be. We're supposed to be an attacking outfit. We're supposed to be entertaining and we're supposed to give something to the people who are actually tuning in and watching these games or turning up and watching these games. And that is a bit of entertainment on a Saturday afternoon or whenever it may be. So I think he could do that for Manchester United, but I agree. I don't think he's the most likely candidate right now. I really don't. I think there's other people that would probably be higher up in terms of odds that we could bring in, because I do think the whole Spurs thing is a massive speed bump. It's like we know Daniel Levy doesn't like to lose out in any situation. Now, he's always done well at getting transfer fees for players that he didn't want to sell. He's always got top money for them. And if you go back and look now, it doesn't quite look like top money because football's gone mad. But some of the transactions and transfers they've had, like Berbatov to United or Bale to Real, he doesn't let players leave on the cheap. He keeps his players. And I'm sure he's the same with his manager. So I think we would have to compensate Spurs very heavily in order to get Pochettino. And then there's so much more extra pressure on Pochettino, who's got to come into a completely different club with a different tradition in not as good a place as his Spurs side are right now, and then suddenly make it work. It doesn't make sense. If I was his agent, I'd be saying, yeah, you might be getting paid a little bit more money or whatever, but it's not worth it for your managerial reputation because there's so much more to risk. He's got a good thing going over there with the squad. They like him. They know how they play. He's got good young players that are only getting better, good English core players. It would be sort of silly for him to do that in a way. I'll talk about it again. My personal opinion would be Eddie Howe would be a great candidate for the manager. And there's so many people on here that disagree with me. And I understand why. He's not a big name manager. He's never won anything at the top level. He's what Auto Windscreens Cup or whatever it is. That's what he's been fighting for in the past. Johnston's Paint Trophy. Do you know what I mean? But still, won the championship, got Bournemouth up from the bottom of League 2 to the Premier League and kept them there and made them a top 10 side. I mean, that's a pretty unbelievable achievement, really, in English football. I love the way his side plays football. Bournemouth play good football. They're very organised and they're really passionate. They look very good. Whenever you watch Bournemouth play, they play above themselves. They do. The system that he plays is easy on the eye. It's attacking, but it's also defensively sound. I think he's a very astute manager. He's also great at bringing youth players through, great at giving opportunity to young players. He has got Bournemouth to the top 10 of the Premier League, like a staple of the Premier League for the last few seasons now, with a band of championship players, effectively. Yeah, they signed some quality players here and there, but a lot of the players are still from the championship. I think that's an amazing achievement. He's not a manager that you should just discard and say, nah, just because he's never managed a big club, he shouldn't be in the frame for the job. How is he going to get a big job then if he's not managing? Does it have to be a progression thing? Like now he's got to go to Everton. And then after he's done well at Everton, then he's got to go to Spurs. And then after he's done well at Spurs, then maybe he can... No, I think if you're good enough, then surely you can get the opportunity at any time. Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager to ever manage, did very well. A little Scottish club called Aberdeen did unbelievable with them. European trophies, you know, domestically, and at the time to topple the likes of Celtic, Rangers off and that sort of stuff. It's an incredible achievement. That is a great managerial achievement. Aberdeen are not a big club. Aberdeen are not a fantastic, huge club. Yet he came in, and yeah, there was a period of turmoil, and maybe it took him a bit of time, but in the end, he proved that that experience, that talent that he had, transferred over to this big club that was Manchester United, and he went on to have the most successful period in our club and become the most successful manager in English football, I believe, apart from maybe that frickin' Liverpool twat. No, my bad. I take that back. It's a bit harsh because he's passed away, but you know what I mean. I take that back. What's his name? Bob Paisley. Is that the one? Anyway, could be getting somebody mixed up there in my head. But you know what I mean? In terms of actual top-level football, he's the most successful. So I think Eddie Howe could potentially go on and be that person, be that next... Okay, nobody's ever going to live up to Sir Alex. He's young, he's progressive, his team plays good football, he brings youth through, he's professional, he's a good ambassador, he's not a controversial character. He fits a lot of the boxes and ticks a lot of the boxes that United would be looking for, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, he's never managed a big club, he's never managed these big egos. He's used to workhorses, he's used to championship players who, don't have a prima donna bone in their body, I'd imagine. So... it may be that wouldn't be the right fit, but I still think he's a better option than a lot of people, like Zidane, for instance. So many people want Zidane. I think Zidane could be good. He was one of the best players ever. His footballing intelligence is second to none, I'm sure. And he did a great job managing Real Madrid with that incredible side for that period of time that he did a few years. And he was very successful, a couple of Champions League. Unbelievable achievement, really. But you stick him in the Championship like Eddie Howe, with an average team, or you stick him in League Two and you see how he does. And I'm not so sure he would do that great. And you could say that that's a moot point because he's used to working at the top level with the top players and all that stuff. But he doesn't know English football the way that Eddie Howe does. He doesn't know Manchester United like maybe he might, or some of the other people might, because he's obviously never played in England. He doesn't know. He's never played or managed in England, so it's a big ask for him to come in and be successful straight away. I do think he could do it. I think he's shown for Real Madrid what a great player and manager he was, and he impressed me. He really did, and I think he would be a good shout, better than Jose Mourinho, because he wasn't the right fit for the club and was too negative and defensive. And Zidane might be the type of guy that can really bring the best out of Pogba, impart actual coaching onto the player, as in what he wants him to do, some of the things he can do to improve his game in midfield, because Zidane was an absolute wizard and he can actually tell him those things, whereas Jose, he can't tell him those things, you know. And he's French and he put his arm around it. But surely this isn't all about Paul Pogba, this is about the team. It's a team thing. Anyway, I think at the moment we have actually got the best man for the job, which is Ole Gunnar. I think there's no pressure on him. We all love him. We've had a terrible start to the season. We've got a bunch of prima donnas who are underperforming in the side. We've got an awful defence. Phil No-Bones, Chris Smalldong, Dwindlov, etc., etc. It hasn't been that bad this season, but some of them definitely need to be moved on. Some of them are not good enough. And he's going to have his task cut out for him to try and get United playing good football again, even though we do have good players. I think he'll be able to do it because we've got players like Martial, we've got players like Rashford, we do have Lukaku, who on his day is absolutely unbelievable, Pogba, lots of good attacking players. You know, Juan Mata, I hope we're going to see a lot more of because he's such an intelligent player. We've got some great players in the side. We just need to play to our strengths. He can be the man to do that. He knows what's expected. He knows what the fans expect, and he's going to try and do that for us. That's what I firmly believe. He's not going to approach games against Crystal Palace at Old Trafford and sit back and play negative and slow defensive football and hoping to hit them on the counter. No way is he going to do that. He's going to tell them to go for it and batter them, and he's going to set us up in order to do that. So I think there's a lot of positivity around the club at the moment. It couldn't get any worse under Jose Mourinho, so he had to go. And anything at the moment is a bonus. Any decision that the board made was a bonus because I didn't think they were going to make it, you know. We've been calling for whoever makes these decisions at the top to make it, whether it's Woodward, Mr. Potato Head, or one of the owners, whatever it may be. They needed to make that decision. They should have probably done it a couple of months ago. That's the thing. We've been struggling for a long time. Since pre-season, there's all this controversy, all this negativity. Jose moaning about not signing players in the window. it's not a good look for the club. And the performances we had for the first couple of months of the season were completely subpar. To get us in the position he did, he had an absolute mare, and he should have probably gone a lot earlier on. The blame is not all Jose Mourinho's, though. I keep saying it. The players, they need to really seriously man up now. They've got no excuses now. They've been underperforming for a long time, the majority of them. Woodward, what does he do? He's bloody useless. We need David Gill back. You know, he's bloody useless, Woodward. I really believe that in terms of bringing players in terms of running the club. I don't think he's up to it. Really don't believe that he is the man that should be in the job. I personally, if I was the owners of United, would sack that twat and try and get somebody in who could maybe do the job. I don't know, maybe Sir Alex, or if he was up to, if he just wants to enjoy his retirement, fair enough. But there's better candidates, I'm sure, that could do that job than old Potato Head. So that pisses me off. And of course, the American owners, they're not really fulfilling their part of the deal, I don't think, because they are treating it like a business. It is an enterprise to them. They're siphoning money out of the club. They're sucking joy and pride and money out of the club. And so that means that United are not living up to their full 100% potential, like a club like City or Chelsea might do with their sugar daddies who just chuck monopoly money in like it's going out of fashion. So yeah, there's been lots of problems at United. It's not just Jose Mourinho, but boy, am I glad he's gone. I bet a lot of you guys are as well, because God, we were playing so shitty. The football we were playing, it was terrible. We don't have to put up with that anymore. Hopefully not. Anyway, next game we're just going to go out and it's going to be a defensive masterclass from Ole Gunnar. No, see, I don't see that happen. And I think the super sub, baby-faced assassin, Ole Gunnar, is going to come in and steady the ship. I really do think that. And it may have ended in tears at Cardiff, but like I say, what he did at Molde showed that he can manage. And he was an intelligent footballer as well, and he was a great player. Really loved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in every single way. Plus, he's just such a nice bloke, isn't he? He's such a nice bloke. He just looks like a nice bloke. He's got a cute little face, you know? Even though he's like 40-odd, he's still got a cute little face. Anyway. Enough of that. So I'm happy with the appointment. I think it's good. Come end of the season, let's analyse the situation then. Does he deserve to be United manager come the end of the year? We will find out. If he can, as I say, get this team playing the right way, get us top four, get us near top four, whatever it may be. It's all about performances now. And if he impresses, then absolutely I'd feel comfortable giving him the opportunity for next year. Yes, Pochettino may be a better manager, more proven in the Premier League. But like I say, there's all those stumbling blocks over that. Eddie Howe, a lot of fans probably wouldn't want that because of the lack of big club experience. And also just the fact that the players we have are totally different types of players. You know, it's like if you're Lukaku or you're Pogba and you've got Eddie Howe who used to play for bloody Rotherham and Burnley and Bournemouth and stuff like that, but not when they were in the Prems and stuff. When they were in League One, that's what he used to do. If you've got him telling you what to do, are you going to really take him seriously? Well, they should, but knowing the types of players we've got, the egos we've got, the prima donnas we've got, I'm not so sure that they would. So I can understand people's reluctance to maybe give an opportunity to a small club manager like Eddie Howe, but I think he's done a tremendous job anyway. And for me personally, I'd like to see that. I want to see opportunities given to English managers as well. There's no better English manager around right now than him, in my opinion. So that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense to me. I'd be happy with that end of the season. But let's see what Ole Gunnar does. I'm not discounting his input and see what he can do. I'd love to see what he can do. Comment here from Ross Livingston. How's it going, Ross? Thank you so much for stopping by, and everybody else who's tuning in. I'll just say it one more time. Smash a like on this video. If you're tuned in watching this right now, chuck a little like on it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD. Let's get back into your comment here, Ross. He says Pogba is poison. I agree with you, man. Pogba has been a complete stain on the mattress that is Manchester United. He has been so poor. He has probably been in the dressing room bad-mouthing Jose and stuff like that to his mates. You know it goes on. Fair enough. Jose is probably not the easiest person to work for. He's very fiery and he's quite controversial. And he said things in the media that he shouldn't be saying about Pogba. And I can understand it from Pogba's point of view. But I think he has been a poison at Manchester United. He has been a rust that has set in and rotted away. The carcass that is Manchester United to an extent, because he's responsible for some of that negativity. He's responsible for a lot of that negativity in terms of the football out there. Because if he really went out there and performed to 100% of his abilities, I'm sure that he would have put in better performances than he has for the last 10 games under Jose. And there's been some here and there where he looks like he's really trying. But most of the time he's dawdling. Most of the time he doesn't look really bang up for it. He doesn't look like that heart on your sleeve, drag you back from 2-0 down type of player most of the time. There's glimpses, that Newcastle performance, there's glimpses here and there. But he's not been good enough. I think he'll be really happy about Jose Mourinho going, and that pisses me off because he's very responsible for a lot of problems at the club and the way we've been playing. Just simply because he is the face of United, he's one of our biggest name players. He should be performing a heck of a lot better, regardless of the system, regardless of the manager. I'm talking about individually here. Jose cannot stop Paul Pogba from receiving the ball, not looking up for a pass, dawdling on it for 5 seconds, getting tackled or having it. He can't control that. So Pogba has to step up. We'll see now, Ross. I agree with you. I personally would love to see Paul Pogba go now too. There's reports of Juventus wanting to come in for him. I don't care if he might be a great player after Jose's gone. From what I've seen now, the last couple of seasons, United, he has been shite. He really has. He's not lived up to the reputation, the hype at all. He's done it for other clubs, France. So that pisses me off even more. He's just not, just like Jose Mourinho wasn't the right fit from a managerial point of view for Manchester United. I don't think Paul Pogba's the right fit from a player point of view. I don't think he has the cojones. I don't think he has the spirit, the fight. I don't think he gets this whole United way. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Alex Ferguson got rid of him once. That's good enough for me. Yeah, there may be all this behind-the-scenes stuff that people keep telling me about, like, his agent and all this stuff. If Fergie really wanted him and believed in him, that he could be that talismanic midfielder for United, he would have done absolutely everything in his power to keep hold of him. This is Alex Ferguson we're talking about at Manchester United, which at the time, it's the biggest bloody club in the world. It might not be now, but at the frigging time it was. So don't you tell me that Paul Pogba is the best player in the world, because he's far from it. Stick Lionel Messi in this underperforming United side. See what the fuck he does. It might not be the Messi at Barcelona, but it'll be a damn sight better show than that Paul Pogba's put on all season long. Very frustrating. So, thanks for your comment there, Russ. I totally agree. Comment here from that kid Hayden. Thank you very much for that comment, Hayden. He says, have a lovely Christmas, mate. Merry Christmas to you, pal. Happy holidays to everybody watching, tuning in around the globe, wherever you may be, whatever your religion you may follow. It doesn't matter. This is a time of year. It's all about love and harmony. So happy holidays to you people. And thanks very much for your cheer there and getting involved. Comment from V9N says, sell Pogba, question mark. 100%. I don't. You've just heard me ramble on and rant about him. I don't like him. I don't really like his mentality. Often people are saying, "Oh, just because he's got funny stuff in his hair and he likes to dab and do these dances and stuff, you hate him." No, it's not because of that at all. I wanted him to be a success. I was really happy when we signed him because over at Juventus he looked incredible, but his performances out on the pitch have been dreadful. Some of the stuff that happened between him and Jose, I think a lot of it's his fault as well. Some of the performances are solely for him, to take the blame. And just things on social media, things like that whole caption this thing on Instagram after Jose's been sacked, make me think that he's a bit of a dickhead. And I love that Gary Neville gave him a dressing down and said, you do one next, because that's how I feel too. It's not just Jose's fault, it's the board, it's the owners, it's the players. A lot of it is the players, because they're the ones out there on the pitch actually doing it. They can't use the Jose excuse anymore. We'll see what he can do. But if Juventus came in with a £50 million offer, or Barcelona, or anybody, I would snap their hand off right now, because I think we can do a lot better than Paul Pogba. That's just my opinion. I know it's not a popular one. There's loads of people that love Paul Pogba. And I understand it. He is a great player, but not for United. He hasn't been a good player for United. I don't think he's the right fit for the club. Mohammed Shahid comments, hopefully Ollie does a Di Matteo. Yeah, hopefully he does. Just imagine that. We go on to lift the Champions League trophy. Oh, that would be absolutely unbelievable. Legendary stuff. Legendary. And wouldn't it just be the Ollie Gunner way to do that as well? Super subbed in there midway through the season. Goes on to frickin' get the goals and win it. Hopefully he can register himself as a player as well. You never know. Injury problems, 91 minutes gone on the clock, 2 minutes left in the Champions League. Who do you want to come on? Who do you want to come on? Do you want Lukaku to come on? Or do you want Ollie Gunner to come on? Player manager, lads. No, seriously, there's probably not much of a better super sub you could bring on even now. Maximilian7 comments and says, Pig, what's up, my man? Just saw Solskjaer's first interview. Look at the genuine happiness in his eyes. He clearly looks absolutely enthused to have joined United, unlike the mugs in the past. Oh, totally. We should have probably done this after Sir Alex left. We should have kept it in-house. You know, I'm glad that Feenan's back involved. You know, it's that twat David Moyes getting rid of him, weren't it? You know, Goblin himself. Terrible decision. Glad to have him back. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, true red, knows the club, knows what it's all about. And like you say, he's absolutely over the moon about this opportunity. He knows what a great club this is. He knows what a big club this is. There's no bigger challenge for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And even though it's just an interim caretaker manager position, I think he's going to relish this. He's going to really get his teeth stuck in. And he's gonna represent United how he should be represented. I'm sorry, but that Mr. Bean that we had, Jose, you know, as much as he's a great manager, and I love what he's come out and said afterward that he loved managing United, and he's not berated the club or the players or anything. He's been very professional, to be fair to Jose Mourinho, and I really respect that. But he just wasn't the right. He didn't get Manchester United, didn't get the United way, didn't get the youth policy, didn't get the performances out there, didn't get the understanding that we want to be entertained as fans and that United should be that swashbuckling sort of attacking side. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he gets that big time because he was part of that. He gets that big time. So I think that this is just amazing. I think he's going to be so happy at this. He looks very happy with his little cute face. I'll say it again. Thank you very much for your comment there. Mohammed Shahid again commenting, I hope he does not play Matic, Fellaini and Lukaku. Well, I totally agree with you, man. I think those players have really underperformed recently. They've played themselves out of the side. And in my opinion, I would like to see other opportunities given to players. Play Rashford number 9. Forget Lukaku for the moment. He's not a United-type player, really. Yeah, he's a very good player, for previously in the Premier League's big physical unit, but I don't think he's elegant or skillful enough to be a true Manchester United player. Sir Alex Ferguson loved his elegant players, loved his skillful players. Wasn't such a big fan of the big unit lummox like Jose was. So I would like to see Ole Gunnar try and replicate that whole elegance at United. It's not about being 6'5" and having a big barnet or whatever it may be. It's about being skilled and intelligent with the ball, a la Juan Mata, little Diddy Juan, best player we got. Most technical, most ability when it comes to dead ball situations. Most can really see a killer ball. Just an intelligent footballer. That's what we need more of at United. We don't need these big calamity lummoxes like Matic, like Fellaini. And Fellaini's not been terrible, really. Lukaku certainly has. Pogba's been really bad, in my opinion. So we've got these big players that, in my opinion, haven't lived up to it. Don't deserve at this moment in time to be even in contention for starting in Ole Gunnar's first game. But I'm sure maybe the likes of Pogba will creep in there just simply because of the amount of money he's on. And that's the thing. Who's really pulling the strings at this club? Ollie's coming in as a caretaker position, but who's really, is Edward Wood saying, Paul Pogba's on 300k a week, you've got to play him? Is it that sort of scenario? I believe that may be the case because Jose Mourinho didn't get on with Paul Pogba, yet he selected him every single week, pretty much. Okay, a couple of games here and there like the last one, but every single game, week in, week out, pretty much. And he was underperforming, and he wasn't playing well. So it's like, how are you justifying selecting him for the next game, and you've said that you don't like the guy? So I think somebody upstairs is saying that you've got to play him. He's the face of the club. From a marketing, PR point of view, he's got to play. He's on that sort of money, and that is totally wrong. Whether or not that's the case, I don't know. Kevin Morgan in the house says, hi, Pig, love your vid. Thank you very much. I love your comment there, Kevin. Very nice of you, mate. This isn't going to be an hour-long one tonight. I am going to wrap this up soon, but I just had to come on and have my say about the appointment of Ole Gunnar as caretaker manager. Absolutely buzzing and over the moon about it, as I'm sure you're aware. And it was needed, wasn't it? It's been a big, crazy couple of days for Manchester United. We got rid of Mr. Bean. Good luck to him. I think he will go on and maybe get the Real Madrid job end of season and really actually be successful again somewhere. I do believe he's got that in his locker. It's not like he's a terrible manager. He's basically the most successful manager of the last couple of decades. He's an unbelievable talent when it comes to managing. Yeah, I called him over the hill, said he's a dinosaur, and maybe he is, but maybe he could prove us wrong. Maybe he could go somewhere and be successful again. His CV, his resume, it does not lie. He's the best of the best when it comes to managing and winning things. It just didn't work out for him at United. He wasn't the right fit for us. He didn't get the club. He didn't get the fans. He didn't get what we want out there, which is some swashbuckling football, as I say. He didn't get that. He wasn't prepared to change. He was too rigid in his ways. Damo Dongo says Solskjaer the new Goblin. There's no way that Ole Gunnar's ever going to be called a Goblin by me. I'm sorry, but his legacy is huge at United. 99 Champions League final. I'm sorry, you don't do something like that and get called a Goblin by me, pal. No way. He's the baby-faced assassin. Whatever he does, he's the baby-faced assassin to me, and an absolute legend. But yeah, absolutely love him. I've even got the old school kit on, lads. Just in celebration that Ole Gunnar's come back to the club. Oh, look, Leicester's just comment, Pig, you can never refer to Ole as the Norwegian Goblin. I would never do that, pal. No way at all. We've got a super chat here from Alex Rudd. Thank you so much for stopping by and getting your super chat in there, Alex. He says, if you hated your boss, you wouldn't give 100%. Depends on the scenario there, Alex. It really does, but I see what you're saying. I see what you're getting at. But it does depend on the scenario. If I'm working in a company and I want to individually perform and get a big bonus, or if it's sales or whatever it may be, then I may really hate my boss, but I still may want to perform at 100% of my abilities. The difference with me and Paul Pogba, or a sales commission-based role or something, is that Paul Pogba is getting the same 300k a week regardless of how he performs out there on the pitch. Yeah, there may be the odd goal bonus here, an odd win bonus and things like that he's missing out on, but he's still collecting that 300k a week. So for him, it doesn't really matter if he performs or not. And yeah, fair enough, if he hates your boss, you want to get rid of him. But I don't like that mentality from a footballer representing United. I don't want to see players out there who don't like their boss underperforming because of that reason. I just think it's very childish and also unprofessional. But I think you're right. I think he has done that, Alex. He has probably not given 100% because he wasn't happy with Jose and he didn't like him at the end of the day. He wasn't comfortable or confident in the system that Jose was playing. And I get that, but at the same time, be professional, Paul. Dilly comments, Pogba out. Thank you so much for your super chat there, by the way, Alex Rudd. Dilly, Pogba out. Totally agree, man. I would actually love to see somebody come in and take him off our hands. People don't like that. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. You can have your opinion. I'll have mine. Don't think he's a United player. Don't think he's ever going to be good enough. Hope he proves me wrong. Actually, scratch that. Hope he doesn't get the opportunity to prove me wrong. That's what I really believe, because I just don't think he is a true United player in terms of bottle, in terms of leadership. I listened to Gary Neville banging on about him the other day, and he said that he thinks he is a leader. I actually disagree with Gary there. I think he has not shown 1 ounce of leadership ability at this United club since he's been here, really. The odd performance here and there, but generally, considering the player he was for Juventus and the player he is for France, I haven't seen any of that at all. I really haven't. Nick Collis, Ole Solskjaer should play up front instead of Lukaku. Absolutely, 100%. Who would you rather bring on in the 90th minute? I'm telling you, Ole Gunnar, get yourself registered, lad. Get yourself registered with the Premier League. 100%. What's this? Roberto Bezic comments, oh no, Mario is the boss. Give armband to Pogba. You are having a laugh, son. I hope that Paul Pogba doesn't get the armband from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That would be an absolute disgrace. Comment here from Leicester. He says, Jadon Sancho would be amazing. We are so weak on the right side. He's looked really good, hasn't he, over in Germany. He's really made a career and a name for himself out there. Played himself into the England setup whilst in a foreign league. That is quite impressive these days. Doesn't happen too often. I think he's one to watch. Definitely maybe a good option. I think we're weak on the wings as well. I personally like Perisic as well. I think he's a good player, one that's been linked with us for a long time. Maybe he's a player that we can go for. Northern Nightmare says, I think Dalot can grow. Really impressed with what I've seen from Diogo Dalot so far. Young player, got bags of potential, bags of ability now. Very impressed. Seems a good crosser with the ball, can get forward, can defend. Seems a very good player, doesn't he? Got a lot of potential. Hopefully he can grow and be that right back for us for the next 10 years. You know, he's got the ability, seems to have it anyway, or at least the potential. So it's just about living up to that. It's about management, of course, from Solskjaer. How much is he going to play in? But I think we're going to see our younger players given more opportunities now. I really hope he takes the mentality that these older, prima donna, overpaid players are not performing, so we might as well give some opportunities to younger players, you know, players like Pereira and Dalot. Why the hell not? Eric Mourinho comments, we should build a team around Pogba. going to just ignore that one, mate. No, you see, there's still a lot of love for Paul Pogba on this chat today, and I understand that. He is a very talented player, but he's so frustrating, and I've never been as frustrated with a United player as him, because we know what he can do, but he doesn't do it. It's like, at least under Jose, half the time, it looked like he wasn't trying 100%, like Alex said there. And I don't like that. I don't care if you don't get on with your manager, you're not happy with the system. You should always be trying 100% just for yourself, mate, but also for your teammates and, more importantly, the fans of this great club. Funny, I saw some infographic the other day, and I just want to talk about it because it had the win percentage of Jurgen Klopp and Jose Mourinho after he's been sacked at United, and the amount of trophies that have been won by the managers and all that sort of thing. And obviously Mourinho's is better than Klopp's. Yet he has been sacked and Klopp hasn't been sacked. But it's sort of, people were sharing that around and all that sort of stuff, and it sort of confused me, because we want it to go the other way, if anything. Jose came in, he steadied the ship, he had a great first season, won us a few Mickey Mouse trophies, and then it was downhill since then. Downhill. Whereas Kloppy came in, you know, it takes a bit of time, playing attacking gung-ho football, conceding goals left, right and centre, a ropey at the back. But they've gone like this. They've gone up. Now look where they are now. An incredible squad, world-class players like Salah, Van Dijk. You know, they've got a real unbelievable squad now, Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp's partially responsible for that. He's also pretty much wholly responsible for the way that they play their football, which is really attacking, really attractive football. Look what they did to us. They steamrolled us, man. They bullied us. They really took the game to us, and we didn't have a reply. And I know we are a shit United side at this moment in time, but all their performances all season have been incredible. They are where you would want to be in your third season in charge, or whatever it may be. Whereas Jose had a good start and then it tapered off. That's why he's gone. That doesn't make any sense, comparing his record to Jurgen Klopp's. Jurgen Klopp, at the time when he took over Liverpool, it wasn't the same expectation as was on Manchester United at the time. I know they may have finished higher than us and stuff like that, season or two, but one season. But the expectation is still there to have to perform and achieve, and they're on that upturn at the moment. They are top of the league. They are up there at least. They are challenging. They do have a great squad. They are playing great football. Right now, at this moment in time, Liverpool fans will be absolutely over the moon about where their Liverpool team are. So that whole thing about comparing the records and trying to make out that Jurgen Klopp is somehow inferior at the moment to Jose Mourinho is just stupid. It is. You know, I like to have a dig at Liverpool too and a pop at Liverpool. Of course I do. Bloody hate the Scousers. But that just doesn't make sense to me, you know, comparing those two records, because look where Jose's at now. He's been sacked. United at 8th. You can't compare them right now. It's just this season, you know. Okay, last season wasn't great. We still finished second above those Scousers. It's about this season. It's about how bad we are now. It's about the fact that he had all that money, he had all that time, and we were playing such bad football. That's what it's about. We've got a super chat here from James Arnold. How's it going, James? Thank you so much for stopping by. Ollie and Phelan, great appointments. 100%, James. Really happy that Phelan's there to help out, because who knows the club more than Mike Phelan, really? Who knows the club more than him? An assistant to Fergie, ex-player, knows the club through and through. Great appointment, that is. David Moyes had an absolute mare getting rid of him when he came in. He should have never have done that. Really didn't like that when that happened. He did that. It was a terrible decision. Look how that worked out. But now he's back, and I think that is such an intelligent move by the club, and it's really going to help Ole Gunnar out. I think it's just a no-brainer. That is such a good move to get him back into the fold. Really happy for that. Roberto comments, Zidane, manager for us. Yeah, fair enough. You know, it's he's one of the favourites to take over. He's probably my third choice, though, at the end of the season. Obviously, I want to see how Ole Gunnar goes on and performs, but I would like to see, I've already said it, Eddie Howe give the opportunity. I know it's crazy. He doesn't have the big club experience, but he's not going to get that until he manages a big club. Love the way they play. Love the youth policy. Love the getting the most out of average players. I love everything about the way he manages. So he's the one for me. And Pochettino would be a second for me. I think he would be a great shout, but there's more problems surrounding getting Pochettino in the managerial role, like compensating Spurs, or whether or not he'd actually want to leave a better Spurs team at this moment in time to come to Man United. You know what I mean? That's the big issue here with Pochettino. But yeah, fair enough. Zidane, he doesn't get a bigger name or a bigger reputation in football in general. You know, okay, management, he's won Champions Leagues and stuff, but just generally in football, it doesn't get bigger than Zidane. So from a commercial point of view, from a big club point of view, it does make sense. It really does. So I understand where that's coming from. And if he did take over at the end of the season, I'd give him an opportunity to see how he does. But I think it's such a different challenge managing over here than it was for Real Madrid. They've got their own pressures over there, insane pressures. But they also don't have the same level of competition generally throughout the 20 teams in the league that we do, or the 18, or whatever it is, 20, yeah. So it's not quite the same. And also Real Madrid at the time, they had Ronaldo, they had Bale, they had Modric, they had these incredible players, which we don't have, the best players in the world. We don't have them right now. So it's a different animal coming over here and expecting them to just, you know, take to it like a duck to water and start performing week in, week out. I don't think the bald monk can do it. I don't think he can use his powers and do it, but I'd love it if he came in and proved me wrong. But like I say, he's not my first choice. Lots of comments coming through here tonight, guys. Thanks so much for getting involved. You're a bunch of legends. Presley Roy comments and says, Eddie Howe to Spurs, Poch to United. Well, wouldn't that be funny? I think that's very likely, actually. That's just as likely as us getting Poch, or just as likely as us getting Eddie Howe. Because Eddie Howe's probably more of a fit for Spurs. They're not quite as big a club as Manchester United. We have this expectation, don't we? Pochettino has built his way up the ladder, like I was saying earlier on in the video. You've got to go manage Southampton, then manage Spurs, then you can manage a big club like Manchester United. Eddie Howe hasn't done that, but he has shown incredible managerial abilities, which would get him the job at a vacant Spurs role if Pochettino did leave. So you never know, that could be very astute from you there, pal. Right, lads and lasses, I'm going to wrap it up here. We've actually almost done an hour, 56 minutes. It's crazy. Little midweek mumble podcast for you, just discussing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's appointment as caretaker manager at United to the end of the season. Come on, my son. Get in there. Absolutely buzzing about it. The baby-faced assassin returns. It's amazing. And we've got rid of Mr. Bean in the same couple of days. It's fantastic. So I expect to see some more positivity around the club at the moment. So go and change. I want to see change at the club. I want to see us start performing and start at least striving to play the United way, because we've got the attacking talents to do that. Come on, Ole Gunnar. You can do it. Do us a favour before you go. Chuck a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Also, this live podcast will be put out in an audio format, so you can listen to it if you just search your whatever podcast app you listen to, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher or SoundCloud or Podcast Addict or any of those ones, on your Android devices, on your Apple devices, on your computer, wherever you want to go. SoundCloud.com/FlyingPigPodcast. You can subscribe to it over there. I'll put the audio version of this podcast on there in a couple of moments' time. Thanks so much for stopping by as usual. Do us a favour, actually, in the description there is a link to my Patreon page. Go and check it out. If you want to support the channel in any way that you can, it'd be much appreciated. Maybe I will be able to do more videos, get more stuff out, not have to wait until over 24 hours later to announce that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the new caretaker manager. Maybe if I can get a few more patrons on there. So have a look at it. No pressure. Thanks so much for getting involved with this video. You're a bunch of legends. Like, subscribe, comment. Follow me on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD. Come back in a few minutes. Sorry if I've not answered your questions or your comments. I obviously can't read everybody's out. I love reading your comments and interacting with you guys though, so keep on doing it. Come back. Have your say in the comment section in a couple of minutes once this is published. I'll read them and respond to them in due course. You're a bunch of legends. Thanks for stopping by on the Flying Pig United channel on YouTube. I'll see you soon, hopefully with some very, very positive news. Take it easy, have yourselves a good one, and come on United.